Hi guys. So in a previous video, I talked about how trade-ins blow deals. Well, I mentioned it briefly. So I kind of want to go into a little bit of detail about how trade-ins can affect a deal and how they can, really throw a deal off for a car salesman. You trade in, you're gonna go look at Kelley Blue Book, you're gonna see what you think it's worth, and you're gonna go into a dealer. And of course, they're gonna want to buy it as cheap as they possibly can. The thing that you usually say is Kelley Blue Book is a guide. It's going to give you information about what you think that the car is going to be worth, but that doesn't mean that that's what they're currently selling for. There's a couple cars that I know sell for over what Blue Book is. There's a couple cars that I know for a fact you're never going to buy at Kelley Blue Book at all. So when you have an idea about what you think your car is worth, you go in there, and if they don't give you that, then you're probably not going to buy a car. And your salesperson is probably not going to get a sale. So a lot of times what you're going to do as a salesperson is you're going to try to find out if they have a trade pretty early on in the process. Or if not, when you do find out that they have a trade-in, you're going to go around and you're going to try to devalue the car as much as possible. Be like, oh, well, look, you have scratches on your wheels, you have a cracked windshield, the tires are bald, things like that. And there is some legitimate reasons why those are important. If there's a crack in the windshield, the car does have to be smog and safe to be sold. So if the crack is too big for us to patch it, the windshield has to be replaced. And windshields can be fairly expensive. There's cheap ways to get them. You can get them really cheap, but usually the dealerships are going to spend at least a few $100s on putting it in there. They're probably going to tell you that they're going to have to replace a windshield that's going to cost like $500-600. So they're going to pack you a little bit on that. But also, if your tires are bald, then they're going to have to replace the tires. They're going to resell that car. There's no option. It's part of your smog and safety. If your brake pads are low, they have to replace those as well. There's certain criteria that the car has to meet to be able to sell. So if you go in there expecting, say, $12,000 for a car, but you got bald tires and you have, a giant crack in your windshield, stuff like that, maybe they're going to give you, at most, like 11 grand or maybe 10. But they're probably going to try you on for size, and if you, tell them, oh, well, I want 12, they might come back at, 9 or something and try to, meet in the middle. There's a lot of negotiation that goes on with that. But there's sometimes that people just have unrealistic expectations. They think, Kelley Blue Book says that this car in excellent condition is going to be worth 7 grand, when really, it's a 150,000 mile old car. That car is not going to sell for that. So what I like to do is I like to walk people through kind of how the process works. So when we buy a car, we have to put a certain amount of reconditioning into it. So if tires are needed, if you need brakes, things like that, those are the big ticket items. But there's always reconditioning that's done on the vehicle. Always has to be detailed, always has to be smogged, always has to go through the shop for a safety inspection. So those things are required costs. And then, of course, it's business. You have to make money. So there's a certain amount of profit that they put in there. Depending on the dealer, typically they're going to try to look for about $3,000 of profit on there. So let's say that your car at retail at a dealership is selling for $15,000, just to give you that. Typically what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to put $3,000 of profit in it, so that's $12,000. And then they're going to assume that every car on average is going to need about $2,000 worth of reconditioning. So that car is worth about 10. Maybe Kelley Blue Book says that trade-in value should be 12 on there, but there's reconditioning, there's profit that they need to put into it and everything like that. So there's a lot of difference in expectations between what the consumer wants and what the dealer wants to pay, because the dealer wants to make money and the consumer wants to, get as much money for their trade-in as possible, because that's their down payment, or that's, money off of what they have to pay in cash, or however you end up paying for it. And so that can be a really contentious point when you're going to buy a car, and it's probably blown more deals for me than anything else, and I personally have no control over that. That's what the sales manager or the used car manager, whoever's appraising the car, what they're getting paid on eventually, because that car is going to sell and they're going to get paid on that. I might be the one that sells that car eventually, but right now I'm just trying to make a deal. So that's just kind of a brief overview of why there's some discrepancy between what you might see online or what they're trying to give you for trade-in. I personally really like CarMax for trade-ins. They give pretty good money for it. If you really have an idea of what you want to get for your car, ask for it. But if you're willing to, private party is really the way to go. You're going to get more money out of it because let's say you go sell this car private party, you can take that $3,000 of profit. You don't have to do any reconditioning. All you have to do is be able to smog the car or get the car to pass smog at least, and you can sell that car. So if you have a car that's worth $15,000 at retail, maybe private party you could sell it for 13. That's more than the dealership's going to give you for that, 10, 11, 12 range that even Kelly Blue Book says that it's worth. So just kind of look into that, see how much time you're willing to spend to try to sell the car, how much time you're willing to negotiate, and if it's going to be something that you have to trade in, like you have a loan on it, you don't want to spend the time to try to sell it, then shop around. I would at least go, if you can, go to CarMax, see what they're going to give you for it. If it's more than what you owe on the car, then cool, trade it into them, they'll cut you a check for the difference, you're good, you use that as a down payment towards your next car. If, you go to another dealer, you can ask them what the car is worth, and then the dealership that you end up buying it from, you can be like, look, I got this value for the car, that's what I want to get. And if they're close, they're close. Sometimes they'll give you exactly what CarMax gave you or whatever other dealer gave you. But the markets can vary from place to place, so just keep that in mind as well. But yeah, so that's my quick 2 cents on trade-ins, why they blow deals, and kind of how to figure out what's the best idea for you. Like I said, private party is definitely the way to go if you're trying to get rid of a car for the most money possible. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave those in the comments below. Also, please subscribe, and if you like my videos, please thumbs up. If you don't like them, please thumbs down. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.